We all face challenges in life, but sometimes what makes them harder is the habit of comparing ourselves to other people. In this video, you'll hear how Dean Furness, a wheelchair athlete, learned to overcome struggles by changing that mindset. And I'm Troy. I will retell Dean's talk in simpler English, so everyone, especially learners whose first language is not English, can easily understand and take in his powerful message. Before we dive in, if you enjoy content like this, please give the video a like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps me keep bringing you more inspiring talks in simple English. Now let me share with you how Dean's journey started and how one challenge turned into a lesson for us all. It feels like we have been measured for our whole lives. When we were babies, people measured our height and our weight. As we grew, it became about our speed and our strength. In school, there were test scores. Today, it is about our salaries and how we do at work. It seems like these personal averages are always used to compare us with other people. But I think we should see this in a different way. A personal average is something very personal. It belongs only to you. If you focus on it and try to improve it, you can start to do really amazing things. This idea started for me on one December evening in 2011. I had just gone outside to do my evening chores and feed our horses. I got into our tractor, and a few minutes later, a 5-foot-tall, 700-pound bale of hay fell from the loader. It crushed me in the tractor seat and broke my T5 and T6 bones in my spine. I did not lose consciousness, but I felt a strong buzzing in my whole body, and I knew right away what had happened. My hands reached for my legs, but my legs did not respond. I could not feel anything from the middle of my chest down. I was about 100 feet from the house, with my arms around the steering wheel, trying to hold myself up and waiting for help. Unlike what you see in movies, I tried to get the dogs to run to the house and bring help, but they only looked at me. 45 minutes later, my wife came home. I heard her step out of the house, and like normal, she called, "Hey, do you need help?" I shouted back, "Yes." Then I heard her yell, "Do you need 911 help?" Again I shouted, "Yes." Soon after, I was in a helicopter for the first time, flying to the hospital. The injury did not look very dramatic or bloody. I had only broken a couple of bones, but the doctors told me that I would probably never walk again. Life became very different. I now used a rope to sit up in bed because my stomach muscles no longer worked. I used a board to slide from bed into my wheelchair. I had to wait for other people to get things for me. Everything I once knew about my height, my strength, my balance, and my movement was gone. My whole personal average had been reset. At that time, I was being measured more than ever. Not only by doctors and nurses, but even more in my own mind. I kept comparing what I thought I could do in the future with what I used to do before. I felt very frustrated. My wife kept pushing me, telling me, "Keep your eyes up." With her help, I started to move forward. I soon realized that I had to almost forget the person I was before and the things I could do in the past. I had to act like it was never me. If I had not understood this, my frustration might have turned into something much harder to recover from. A few weeks later, I was moved to a new home. On my first day of rehab, we had something called a fit class. We were put into teams, and each team had to see who could do the most reps on the weight machine. Now, you know how it feels when you haven't gone to the gym for 1 or 2 years. I was the same. What do? You try to do what you used to do years ago. You do a few sets, then you add a few more. You start to feel strong, so you push yourself to do even more. But after that, for the next 2 weeks, you complain to your family about how sore you are. My team went really hard. We gave it everything, and we won. We didn't just win, we won big. But for the next 3 days, I could not straighten my arms. Normally that is not such a big problem. But when you are in a wheelchair, your arms are what you use to move around. So it became a big problem. This moment taught me an important lesson. I realized that I could not compare myself to my old self anymore. Even in the hospital, with people who were also in the same situation as me, I could not try to go at their speed or do what they could do. I had only one real choice. I needed to focus on who I was at that time, think about where I wanted to go, and work on becoming the person I needed to be again. So that is what I did. I started small and built little by little. Of course, when you are recovering from a spinal cord injury, you will have bad days. Sometimes you might even have a few bad days in a row. But I learned something. Good and bad do not mean much unless you know what your average is. It was my choice to decide if a day was good or bad, based on where I was at that time. I had the control. It was also my decision if I wanted to stop a line of bad days or let them continue. And during that time away from home, I realized something. I never really had a completely bad day. Even with all the hard things happening, there was always at least one part of the day that was not so bad. Some parts of my day were unpleasant, yes, but the whole day was never ruined. I think you all have had this kind of experience too. Maybe you had a meeting that went badly. Maybe your trip to work was long and tiring. Maybe you even burned your dinner. But did those things really make your whole day bad? I found out that the faster you move on to the next thing, the faster you can start working on something new. When you move on quickly, the time you spend in the bad moment gets shorter. That leaves more time for the good things. And when that happens, the good becomes stronger than the bad. The good outweighs the bad, and your average gets better. That is just how it works. It didn't matter if I had a very tough morning with my medication, or if my legs were shaking a lot during lunch, or even if I fell out of my wheelchair. Those things were only small parts of my day. They were only small parts of my average. In the months and years after that, I kept trying to do things in the same way. Soon, I faced some big challenges, like doing a marathon in a wheelchair. In early 2016, I met my physical therapist. After some very hard sessions, she looked at me and said, "You should do a half marathon in your wheelchair. And it is in 10 weeks. I thought, "You're crazy." I had no workout plan. I did not know how fast I should go or how far, but I started training anyway. I wrote down every workout, every day. My only goal was to be a little better or faster than the day before. In the end, I created my own average. I tried to build on it as much as I could. I finished that race. My time was exactly what my average showed it should be. And during that time, I closed the door on who I used to be. The person I was before, and all the things I thought I could do, did not matter anymore. Even walking again was not so important. That goal became smaller for me. Besides, you people are so slow when you walk. In a crowd, it's difficult. I just wanted to go fast. So, I began to learn about wheelchair racing. I searched online. I studied the best athletes. I learned their techniques. I read about the equipment. I was lucky because I found a coach who helped me start. He told me, "You should do the 2017 Chicago Marathon." And since he was the coach, I could not say no. With his guidance, I went home and worked hard, just like before. I kept learning, but this time I was careful. I tried not to compare myself with the fast athletes I saw online. If I had done that, I would probably have quit. The weekend of the race came. It felt like my first time at college. You arrive. You don't know many people. Some people are cool, smart, pretty, handsome. You wonder if you belong. Then someone says, "Let's go eat." And suddenly you feel more at home. That weekend, we had a wheelers meeting the night before the race. 60 wheelchairs were in the room. The best racers in the world were there. Together, they had more than 50 Paralympic medals. I felt small. I compared myself again. My times were 90 seconds slower per mile than theirs. The only person I knew was my coach. He saw I was nervous. He invited me to eat with his team. That made me calm. I realized that they did not care about my average. I also stopped caring about theirs. The next day, I finished the race about 45 minutes after the winner. But as I was leaving, my new friends challenged me to keep going. They wanted me to continue racing, so I did what I knew. I went home and I worked hard again. Now training for a marathon in a wheelchair is a lonely thing. I have great friends who ride bikes with me, check my pace and help me. But still, it is 5 to 6 days a week, 50 to 60 miles each week, mostly alone. In those times, I had no one else to rely on but myself. It was all about my average and trying to improve little by little. In the fall, I went to Chicago for the 3rd time. It was my 7th marathon. It felt like going back to college for the 3rd year. You look forward to seeing friends. You feel excited to start again. I went to the same pre-race meeting, had the same meal, met old friends. At the start of the race, my average helped me. I caught up with some friends and raced with them. But soon I became tired. I slowed down. I was alone again, with only my hard work to help me. At the halfway point, we turned into the wind. My average gave me strength. I caught some friends and passed them until the finish line. I didn't set a personal record that day, but I was 30 seconds per mile faster than my other Chicago races. That made me excited. This is me. This is my average. In 75 days, I will be in Boston for the 2nd time. I am very excited. But remember, this is not only about racing. I work hard every day to be better in many ways. A better parent, a better husband, a better coach, a better teammate, a better friend, a better person. And I want to tell you something. My challenge is visible. You can see it, but everyone here is fighting something, even if we cannot see it. So focus on yourself, not on others. If you do that, I believe you can win your challenges and achieve great things. So, remember, true strength comes when you stop comparing and focus on your own journey. If this message inspires you, please like the video and subscribe for more simple English talks. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.